Imagine a man sitting in a small, dimly lit room. The walls are cracked, the table is bare, and outside the window, the streets of St. Petersburg are drowned in snow and silence. He is not starving, yet he feels emptier than the hungriest beggar. He is not imprisoned, yet he feels chained by invisible walls. This man is not a fictional character. He is Fyodor Dostoevsky himself, condemned years earlier to death by firing squad, only to be pardoned at the very last moment. He had stared into the abyss of death, and when he was given back his life, he carried with him a haunting truth, that sometimes, the harder we try to force meaning, happiness, or certainty into our lives, the more elusive they become. This paradox, the idea that striving too desperately for control can bring us suffering, is at the very heart of Dostoevsky's philosophy. It's a lesson buried within his novels, his characters, and his own tortured life. And today we're going to explore why Dostoevsky believed that the harder you try, the worse it gets, and what that means for us in the modern world. Dostoevsky understood human nature better than almost anyone. He knew that people long for happiness, certainty, and meaning. But when we pursue them with too much desperation, they slip through our fingers. Take his novel Notes from Underground. The underground man is obsessed with rationality, control, and the pursuit of self-interest. But instead of becoming free, he becomes a prisoner of his own mind. His constant effort to dominate life makes him miserable. Dostoevsky is pointing out a truth. When we try too hard to engineer life, we end up strangling it. Like grabbing water too tightly, our grasp only makes it escape faster. Think about your own life. How many times have you planned everything perfectly? Your career, your relationships, your goals, only for reality to break your plans apart. Dostoevsky knew that the human obsession with control is both our strength and our curse. His own near-death experience showed him that life is never truly ours to command. The paradox is this: the harder we try to dominate life, the more powerless we feel. In the Brothers Karamazov, Dostoevsky explores one of his darkest ideas, the burden of freedom. Human beings, he suggests, don't always want freedom. Freedom is terrifying. With freedom comes responsibility, anxiety, and the possibility of failure. So what do? We seek authority, systems, ideologies, even relationships that will take the weight of freedom off our shoulders. We try to hand over control so we don't have to carry it ourselves. But Dostoevsky warns us. When we flee from freedom, we flee from what makes us human. The more we try to escape responsibility, the more enslaved we become. Another paradox Dostoevsky wrestled with is morality itself. Take Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment. He wants to be good, to live a noble life. But when he tries to justify murder for the sake of a greater good, his soul unravels. Dostoevsky is asking, what happens when we try too hard to be moral, or heroic, or special? Often the harder we push toward perfection, the further we drift from it. Goodness, Dostoevsky suggests, cannot be forced. It must come through humility, suffering, and the acceptance of imperfection. Dostoevsky's life was drenched in suffering, poverty, prison, illness, addiction, and yet he believed suffering was not meaningless. In fact, he believed it was essential. "The only thing I dread," he once wrote, "is not to be worthy of my sufferings." Suffering to Dostoevsky was a kind of purification. It stripped away illusions, forced people to confront their inner selves, and revealed truths that comfort could never reveal. But here's the paradox again. The more we try to avoid suffering, the more it hunts us. The more we embrace suffering, the more we can transform it into meaning. In our modern world, we are obsessed with happiness. Self-help books, Motivational quotes, wellness industries, all tell us to pursue happiness at any cost. But Dostoevsky would warn us, the more you chase happiness directly, the more it evades you. Happiness is a byproduct, not a goal. It comes when we stop clinging, when we accept life's chaos and suffering instead of trying to eliminate them. At the core of Dostoevsky's paradox is the question of faith. If we cannot control life, if happiness cannot be forced, if freedom is a burden, then how should we live? Dostoevsky's answer was faith. Not necessarily blind religious faith, but faith in meaning, faith in humanity, faith that suffering has value. Without faith, life collapses into despair. His characters who reject all higher meaning often end in destruction. His characters who accept faith, even amidst pain, find a strange kind of peace. So what does Dostoevsky's warning mean for us? It means stop trying so hard to control every detail. It means don't flee from suffering. It might be the teacher you need. It means recognize that freedom is hard, but it is also precious. And it means happiness cannot be grasped. It must be allowed. The paradox is simple. The more you try to dominate life, the worse it gets. But the more you let go, the more life opens up. Dostoevsky knew this because he lived it. From the edge of death to the depths of despair, he saw what happens when we try too hard to master existence. And he left us with a haunting truth. The art of living is not in conquering life, but in surrendering to it. So ask yourself, are you trying too hard to control life, or are you allowing life to flow through you? Dostoevsky's philosophy is not easy, but it is honest. The harder you try, the worse it gets. But when you learn to let go, something far greater begins.